In the music world, Black R&B legends have long shone as luminous architects of emotion and sound. Their velvet vocals, timeless melodies, and soul-stirring performances didn't just top charts, they carved pathways for entire generations and etched their names into cultural memory. Each note carried history, resilience, and creative fire, transforming stages into sanctuaries and songs into lifelong companions for millions around the globe. Yet beyond the spotlight's glow and the thunder of applause lies a quieter narrative rarely explored. Behind the platinum records and dazzling premieres were deeply human journeys, stories marked by inner conflicts, difficult crossroads, and the weight of immense expectation. Some faced turbulent chapters shaped by personal struggles, public scrutiny, and moments of controversy that tested their strength and legacy. It is within this contrast, brilliance intertwined with vulnerability, that we discover a more complete portrait, not just icons, but individuals navigating the complex rhythm of fame, consequence, and redemption. These 18 legendary R&B artists once stood at the summit, admired, celebrated, and encircled by the dazzling aura of success. Their voices echoed across airwaves, their influence shaping culture in ways that still ripple through time. For a moment, it seemed as though the spotlight would never dim. But history often reminds us that rapid ascent can carry invisible pressure, and even the brightest constellations must navigate gravity. Behind the acclaim were human stories marked by fragile crossroads, chapters of personal turbulence, difficult decisions, and moments that tested their inner foundations. Challenges related to dependency, emotional strain, and public controversy did more than interrupt their careers. They reshaped the direction of their lives in profound and lasting ways. If their journeys resonate with you, share a 1 below. If you see a different perspective, comment 0. And be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because these stories reach far beyond melodies and fame. They are reflections of an era, testaments to resilience, and echoes of voices that never truly disappeared, only waiting for history to listen again. In the 1990s, R. Kelly stood at the summit of contemporary R&B. His 1,993 album 12 Play achieved multi-platinum status, redefining the genre's commercial reach. With I Believe I Can Fly, he reached an even broader audience, earning 3 Grammy Awards and cementing his reputation as a dominant creative force. At his peak, his influence extended far beyond radio charts. He helped shape the sonic identity of an entire era. Yet as accolades accumulated, troubling questions began to surface. In 1994, reports emerged that he had entered into a marriage with singer Aaliyah, who was underage at the time. The marriage certificate was later declared fraudulent, and the union was annulled. Though the legal action ended quickly, the controversy marked a pivotal shift in public perception. What had once been uncritical admiration began to fracture. Headlines replaced whispers, and scrutiny intensified. The contrast between artistic acclaim and personal allegations introduced a deeper tension into his legacy, prompting audiences to reconsider the complex and often uncomfortable divide between public talent and private conduct. By 2002, controversy surrounding R. Kelly intensified when a videotape surfaced that allegedly depicted him with an underage girl. The footage triggered widespread public outrage and led to criminal charges. After several years of legal proceedings, he stood trial in 2008 and was acquitted by a jury. Despite the verdict, questions and allegations continued to follow him, even as he maintained a touring schedule and released new music. Over time, additional individuals came forward with detailed accounts describing manipulation, isolation, and coercive control. In interviews and investigative reports, accusers stated they were kept away from family members for extended periods and pressured into situations they did not fully understand or consent to. These claims deepened public concern and renewed scrutiny of earlier events. The evolving narrative marked a significant shift in cultural conversation. What had once been dismissed or overshadowed by commercial success began to receive sustained examination. The case became part of a broader reckoning within the entertainment industry, highlighting the importance of accountability, the amplification of survivor voices, and the recognition that artistic achievement does not place anyone above the law. By the late 2010s, mounting civil lawsuits, reported financial strain, and unpaid tax issues had severely destabilized the career of R. Kelly. Public scrutiny intensified further in 2019 with the release of the documentary series Surviving R. Kelly, which presented detailed testimonies from accusers and reignited national debate. In the aftermath, major industry partners distanced themselves, including the end of his relationship with Sony Music and streaming platforms, reduced active promotion of his catalog. In 2021, a federal jury in New York found him guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking charges. In 2022, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. The verdict marked a dramatic and definitive turning point. A once celebrated chart-topping figure now defined primarily by criminal convictions rather than musical accolades. His case has sparked a complex cultural question that continues to divide audiences. Can art be separated from the actions of its creator? Some argue that music, once released into the world, takes on a life independent of the artist. Others believe that supporting the work indirectly overlooks harm done to victims. There is no universal answer, only an ongoing conversation about accountability, ethics, and how societies reconcile creative legacy with documented wrongdoing. Jackie Wilson, famously known as Mr. Excitement, remains one of the most dynamic forces in R&B history. Born in Detroit, Michigan, in 1934, he captivated audiences with soaring vocals, magnetic charisma, and a stage presence that felt almost electric. His performances blurred the line between concert and spectacle, turning every appearance into an unforgettable event. With enduring hits like Lonely Teardrops, Reet Petite, and Your Love Keeps Lifting Me higher and higher, Wilson helped define the early blueprint of soul-infused pop. His vocal agility and emotional intensity laid essential groundwork for what would later evolve into the Motown sound, influencing generations of performers, including Michael Jackson. Beyond the studio, Wilson revolutionized live entertainment with acrobatic stage routines and boundless energy that set a new benchmark for showmanship. His legacy endures not only in chart-topping classics, but in the performance standards he established, standards that continue to shape modern entertainers decades later. Jackie Wilson's sudden collapse on stage in the 1970s sent shockwaves through the music world, shattering the illusion that boundless energy and charisma could shield an artist from human fragility. To audiences, he had always seemed unstoppable, a whirlwind of motion and voice, commanding every spotlight with effortless brilliance. Yet that moment revealed a stark truth. Even the most radiant performers carry invisible burdens. His health crisis became more than a personal tragedy. It symbolized the immense pressures woven into the fabric of show business. Fame can amplify applause, but it can also magnify exhaustion, isolation, and expectation. Behind the curtain, artists often wrestle with the weight of constant performance, not only for the public, but for an industry that rarely slows its pace. Wilson's story serves as a powerful reflection on the hidden cost of stardom. It reminds us that beneath dazzling lights and roaring crowds are human lives shaped by sacrifice, vulnerability, and the quiet search for balance. In remembering him, we honor not only his electrifying legacy, but also the deeper lesson his journey leaves behind, that compassion and care are just as vital as talent in sustaining greatness. Jackie Wilson rose to extraordinary heights with chart-topping singles and live performances that felt almost superhuman in energy. Night after night, he commanded stages with precision and passion, embodying the very definition of showmanship. To the public, he was vitality personified, a performer who seemed fueled by endless fire. Yet behind that radiant exterior, his private world grew increasingly complex. Accounts from those close to him described mounting emotional strain, persistent stress, and periods of psychological instability. The relentless demands of touring, financial pressures, and the expectations of an industry in constant motion appeared to weigh heavily on him. Observers noted moments of heightened anxiety, erratic behavior, and signs of deep internal conflict that contrasted sharply with his confident stage persona. The turning point came in 1975, when Wilson collapsed during a performance in New Jersey. The incident stunned fans and underscored the severity of the health crisis unfolding beneath the applause. That moment transformed his story from one of unstoppable ascent to a sobering reminder that even the most electrifying stars are not immune to the cumulative toll of pressure, vulnerability, and unaddressed struggle. With an extraordinary gift for weaving soul, pop, and gospel into one seamless current of sound, Jackie Wilson secured a singular, timeless place in music history. He was far more than a technically gifted vocalist. He embodied innovation in motion, transforming the stage into a living canvas of rhythm and emotion. Every performance felt alive, unpredictable, magnetic, and charged with intention. His soaring tenor, athletic dance movements, and boundless stamina redefined what audiences expected from a live show. He didn't merely sing songs like Lonely Teardrops, he inhabited them, fusing vocal precision with theatrical flair. By blending the emotional gravity of soul, the accessibility of pop, and the spiritual undertones of gospel, he created a blueprint that resonated across cultural lines. Beyond the chart success, Wilson's influence echoed through generations of performers who adopted his intensity and stagecraft as a standard. He helped reshape the architecture of modern entertainment, proving that artistry could be both technically masterful and explosively expressive. His legacy endures not only in recordings, but in the DNA of contemporary performance itself. While performing his signature hit Lonely Teardrops in 1975, Jackie Wilson suddenly collapsed on stage after suffering a massive heart attack. The incident stunned the audience and sent shockwaves through the music world. He fell into a coma shortly afterward and remained in a persistent vegetative state for nearly 9 years until his passing in 1984, a prolonged and tragic final chapter to an extraordinary career. That devastating moment marked not only the end of his time in the spotlight, but also the unraveling of a lifelong shaped by intense pressure. In the years leading up to the collapse, Wilson had faced mounting financial strain, emotional stress, and health challenges that quietly compounded behind the scenes. The same industry that celebrated his boundless energy demanded relentless performance, often with little margin for rest or recovery. His story endures as both inspiration and warning, a testament to breathtaking talent, but also a reminder of the hidden cost of fame. Behind the applause and acrobatics was a human being navigating vulnerabilities rarely visible to the crowd. In remembering him, we honor not only the brilliance he brought to the stage, but the lesson that even the brightest stars require care, balance, and protection from the consuming glare of the spotlight. The weight of fame, relentless public expectation, and unresolved personal struggles can erode even the most resilient spirit. Jackie Wilson stands as one of the most poignant examples of how a life in constant motion can quietly spiral when balance is lost. When he passed away in 1984 at just 49 years old, he left behind not only a catalog of timeless music, but a legacy intertwined with both brilliance and sorrow. He had once ignited stages with unmatched vitality, a voice that soared effortlessly, a presence that commanded every corner of the room. Yet the same spotlight that elevated him also magnified pressures few could truly comprehend. Applause can be deafening, but silence behind the curtain can be heavier still. Wilson's story endures as both tribute and caution. It celebrates extraordinary talent while illuminating the unseen mental and emotional toll that sustained fame can exact. His life reminds us that strength is not measured solely by performance, and that care for the inner world is as essential as mastery of the outer stage. Young Thug rose to prominence with chart-dominating tracks like Pick Up the Phone and Lifestyle, becoming one of the most stylistically innovative voices in modern hip-hop. At his peak, he wasn't simply releasing hits, he was redefining flow, melody, and fashion within the culture, inspiring a new generation of artists and helping shape the soundscape of contemporary rap. His influence extended beyond music into branding, mentorship, and the cultivation of a creative movement that carried his distinct imprint. Yet, as his artistic empire expanded, mounting legal challenges began to cast a shadow over his achievements. Arrests, indictments, and ongoing court proceedings gradually shifted the narrative from studio success to courtroom scrutiny. The headlines increasingly focused on allegations and investigations rather than chart positions and awards. Despite his undeniable impact on hip-hop's evolution, his career has been deeply affected by the weight of legal uncertainty. The contrast between creative dominance and legal adversity highlights how quickly circumstances can shift and how even the most influential figures can find their legacies tested beyond the stage. This case has become one of the most closely followed legal sagas in modern hip-hop, underscoring the fragile line between cultural influence and legal accountability. In May 2022, Young Thug-born Jeffrey Williams was arrested as part of a sweeping investigation in Georgia involving allegations of organized criminal activity. Prosecutors announced a 5-6-count indictment that included racketeering charges and other serious accusations tied to events spanning several years. Authorities alleged that he and individuals connected to YSL, Young Stoner Life, were involved in a broader criminal enterprise. Court documents referenced multiple incidents, including the use of a rented Infiniti vehicle that investigators linked to a prior violent episode. Following his arrest, a search of his residence resulted in additional charges, further intensifying the scope of the case. Prosecutors characterized the matter as part of an extensive conspiracy investigation under Georgia's RICO statute. The development sent immediate shockwaves through the music industry. Fans, collaborators, and critics alike watched closely as the legal process began to unfold, aware that the outcome could carry lasting consequences not only for his career, but also for conversations about artistry, affiliation, and responsibility within hip-hop culture. As of now, Young Thug remains in custody while his high-profile RICO trial continues to unfold in Georgia. The proceedings have stretched across months with procedural delays, evidentiary disputes, and intense media scrutiny. In many ways, the courtroom has become its own stage, with viral exchanges, emotional testimony, and widespread public commentary shaping the narrative beyond the legal filings. The case has sparked broader debate within entertainment circles and among legal analysts, with some public figures questioning aspects of fairness and proportionality, while others emphasize accountability under the law. At stake is the possibility of a substantial prison sentence if convicted, adding profound uncertainty to his personal and professional future. For fans, the question lingers. Will one of hip-hop's most stylistically innovative artists eventually return to recording and performing? Or will this prolonged legal battle redefine the arc of his career? As the trial proceeds, the outcome remains in the hands of the judicial process, a reminder that even towering cultural influence does not exist outside the reach of the legal system. Michael Sumler, known to many as Chicago Mike, tragically lost his life in a head-on collision late on Sunday, the 24th of May 2025, in Mableton, Georgia. He was 71 years old. According to information released by the Cobb County Police Department, the crash occurred on Veterans Memorial Highway near Buckner Road. Authorities reported that while the other driver involved was not injured, Sumler was pronounced dead at the scene. The Cobb County medical examiner later officially confirmed his passing. The incident has left many reflecting on the fragility of life and the suddenness with which circumstances can change. Heartfelt condolences go out to his loved ones and all those affected by this loss. Following the tragic passing of Michael "Chicago Mike" Sumler, tributes quickly poured in from leaders and fellow musicians. Mableton Mayor Michael Owens shared a heartfelt statement, reflecting on Sumler's lasting impact. His style and energy brought a burst of excitement to Kool and the gang for decades. The words captured what many fans felt, that his presence on stage was more than performance. It was pure vitality. Remarkably, just hours before the accident, Sumler had been performing at the Mabel House Barnes Outdoor Theater during a show titled An Evening of Funk. Sharing the spotlight with fellow legends, he delivered the same passion and rhythm that defined his career. It was a night filled with celebration, unaware that it would become his final curtain call. Among those honoring him was Mike Cooper, founder of Con Funk Shun, who wrote an emotional tribute thanking Sumler for his enduring support and friendship. His message, filled with warmth and disbelief, reflected the deep bonds within the funk music community. Sumler's legacy now lives on not only in recordings and memories, but in the joy and unity his performances brought to generations of fans. Over the years, Michael "Chicago" Mike Sumler became a beloved presence among fans of Kool and the Gang. Though he was not one of the group's founding members, he infused their live performances with renewed energy and charisma. His sense of rhythm, sharp timing, and authentic connection to the groove helped bridge eras, allowing the band's signature sound to resonate with both longtime supporters and new generations discovering it for the first time. Sumler's role may not always have been in the spotlight, yet his influence was unmistakable. Fellow performers felt his steady pulse on stage, and audiences responded to the spirit he brought into every show. In a band known for layered instrumentation and dynamic stage chemistry, his contributions strengthened the collective heartbeat that kept crowds moving. Since forming in 1964, Kool and the Gang has included more than 40 members, each adding a distinct thread to its evolving tapestry. Sumler stands among those who helped carry the legacy forward not just through notes and lyrics, but through presence, passion, and the unspoken magic that only live music can create. Authorities later confirmed the tragic news, and the report was subsequently covered by Entertainment Weekly. Michael "Chicago" Mike Sumler joined Kool and the Gang in 1985, stepping into an ensemble that had already secured legendary status within R&B and funk. Initially working behind the scenes as a stylist and choreographer, Sumler quickly proved that his contribution extended far beyond wardrobe and movement. His instinct for stagecraft, his vibrant personality, and his natural command of an audience transformed him into a visible force within the group. What began as support evolved into spotlight. For more than 3 decades, his unmistakable flair helped define the band's live identity, adding motion to melody and electricity to rhythm. In a group celebrated for timeless hits and enduring showmanship, Sumler became one of the sparks that kept the flame burning bright across generations. In 2024, Kool and the Gang was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a recognition of their enduring influence on funk, soul, and R&B. The honor celebrated decades of innovation, chart-topping hits, and cultural impact that shaped the rhythm of multiple generations. Michael "Chicago" Mike Sumler played a meaningful role in extending that legacy into the 21st century. Through his dynamic stage presence and infectious enthusiasm, he helped ensure that the band's live performances remained vibrant and relevant long after their early breakthroughs. He was part of the connective thread between the group's historic roots and its modern-day audiences. His passing resonated deeply not only within the band, but across the broader music community. Fans and fellow artists remembered him for the passion, dedication, and unmistakable spirit he carried onto every stage, a reminder that sometimes the heartbeat of a legendary group is found in the energy of those who keep it alive night after night. Lamar Odom is widely remembered as one of the most versatile talents of his era, a player whose size, skill, and court vision made him a matchup nightmare. His career surged in the early 2000s and reached its peak with the Los Angeles Lakers, where he played alongside Kobe Bryant. Together, they captured back-to-back NBA championships in 2009 and 2010, cementing Odom's role in a modern basketball dynasty. In 2011, he earned the prestigious NBA Sixth Man of the Year award, recognition of his impact, adaptability, and unselfish contribution to team success. Yet beyond the bright lights of the arena, Odom's life reflected a more complicated narrative. Throughout different stages of his journey, he faced ongoing struggles related to substance use. The immense pressure of professional sports, public scrutiny, and the lifestyle surrounding elite competition created a challenging environment, one that tested his resilience off the court. His story stands as a powerful reminder that athletic excellence does not grant immunity from personal battles. Behind championship rings and highlight reels are human beings navigating expectations, vulnerability, and the consequences of difficult choices. Odom's path reflects both remarkable achievement and the importance of seeking support when facing life's toughest challenges. On the 13th of October 2015, Lamar Odom experienced a life-threatening medical emergency while at a legal brothel in Nevada. He was found unconscious and rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Doctors later confirmed he suffered multiple severe complications, including kidney failure and significant heart and neurological issues. For days, his survival was uncertain, and the sports world watched anxiously. The crisis marked a dramatic turning point. Once celebrated for championships with the Los Angeles Lakers and recognized as the NBA's 6th Man of the Year award recipient in 2011, Odom was now confronting the most serious battle of his life, one that extended far beyond basketball. The incident also coincided with the final unraveling of his marriage and effectively closed the chapter on his professional playing career. In the aftermath, the focus shifted from trophies and accolades to recovery and reflection. The moment forced Odom to confront the consequences of substance dependence and the emotional toll that had accumulated over time. His story stands as a stark reminder that health and stability are fragile, and that even elite athletes can face profound vulnerability when personal struggles go unaddressed. Lamar Odom experienced extraordinary highs during his NBA Journey championship victories, individual honors, and global recognition. Yet away from the court, his life unfolded along a far more turbulent path. Struggles with substance use, including cocaine and other stimulants, gradually impacted both his personal relationships and professional stability. Over time, these challenges contributed to legal issues, declining performance, and serious health consequences. The most critical turning point came in 2015, when he suffered a life-threatening medical emergency in Nevada that left him in a coma and facing organ failure. The incident marked the effective end of his playing career and forced a profound reckoning. From that moment forward, survival itself became the victory. Rehabilitation required not only physical healing but emotional rebuilding, confronting grief, regret, and the weight of past decisions. Despite the setbacks, Odom's story did not conclude in that hospital room. With support from family, friends, and loyal fans, he began the long process of recovery and reflection. His journey today reflects resilience, proof that even after devastating lows, rebuilding is possible when accountability, support, and determination align. Lamar Odom's journey stands as a powerful reflection on mental health, accountability, and the courage required to confront personal struggles directly. In an interview with TMZ, Lamar spoke candidly about how chaotic life had become during his marriage to Khloe Kardashian. He recalled a painful moment when someone he was involved with used his phone to contact Khloe, asking her to come pick him up, a stark illustration of how far his stability had eroded. What once looked like an unstoppable ascent, championships, endorsements, and public admiration, gradually gave way to consequences tied to substance dependence and emotional turmoil. The contrast between public success and private unraveling became impossible to ignore. Yet his story is not defined solely by collapse. It is also marked by survival, reflection, and the slow work of rebuilding. Through therapy, family support, and personal accountability, Lamar has taken visible steps toward healing. His path reminds us that setbacks, no matter how public, do not eliminate the possibility of growth. What are your thoughts on Lamar's recovery journey? Share your perspective below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow as we continue exploring stories of resilience, redemption, and the strength it takes to rise again.